Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Nick. How are you?
Oh yeah, speaking. How are you doing?
This is George. How is everything with you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Everything is good. Uh, nice and
Good.
sunny in Lisbon, so I can't complain.
Okay, cool.
So let's talk about Icon, Icon 30 as it is always going to be known. I think we have to you explain this on the press release, but people still don't understand that you didn't re-record Icon because the original one sucked or anything like that. So, in your words, what was the main reason to re-record Icon?
It's about the record contracts that we did around that time, and I mean, most bands around that time did similar kind of record contracts. You basically you kind of sign the rights away for almost an entire lifetime, so you never actually own your music, you know. So and it's kind of licensed through them to release and do what they want with it. So it's just a case of reclaiming what is ours, really, you know. I mean, a lot of bands are doing this now. It's not a question of about trying to because it's like you said, because if it sucks and you want to re-record it, we would have done that. I think we would have waited less than 30 years if we were going to do that. But no, it's basically about just owning our own work, and also it ties in with the 30th anniversary. So we thought it'd be quite an interesting time to revisit that old style and see what it was like now, you know. So yeah, it was kind of a bit of a win-win situation for us, really.
Yeah, and that was to revise and to look at those original recordings, and it's your songs, but how is to make it justice on a re-recording version, because everybody knows it's hard to or impossible to recapture what you guys were doing in 1993. Technology is much better. You guys are much better as musicians. How was the approach for the re-recording of the songs?
I think probably the biggest hurdle was getting the speed of the songs right, because we never played to click tracks or anything then. So it was I think getting that right, getting the speed of the songs and getting the kind of constant flow of how the songs sound. I mean, there was a lot more spontaneity, and there's nothing wrong with that either, you know, because spontaneity, sometimes the most spontaneous things can be the best things. So it's just a case of finding a happy medium and everything we've learned over the last 30 years and remembering what we felt like when we recorded that album and the things around that time. So I mean, I think musically it was a lot more. I mean, for me, I just listened to what I sang, each single line of each single song, and I just copied what I sang. And it was kind of it took quite a while to do it. It was like a lot of work, but I didn't find it particularly difficult to do it because it's still my voice, you know, so it's even all these years later. So, but I know musically it was a bit more of a challenge, but it's still, you know, I think it's come out really well, you know, considering it's 30 years ago we did it, you know, so.
And going through those songs, what memories brought from back then? Because that was your fourth record, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys were recording an album every year, and Icon became probably the biggest album till then for Paradise Lost. How was that time of recording, and did you realize that you had like a special record in your hands?
The original recording, I think we signed to our management around 1992 or three. And then once we signed to management, we started doing lots of gigs and shows, and we got really wrapped up in we were either in the studio or we were on the road. We didn't really have much time to do anything. And when you release an album a year, and then in between, all you're doing is, I can't even remember really writing those songs. I can remember parts of it, how we used to record them using an old 4-track recorder. But that album, Icon and Recording Times, there's a real blur between those albums, really. I think, with the writing process. But like I said before, sometimes when things are spontaneous, they can be better. Sometimes you can have too long to work on things. And, I think those two albums seem to happened very quickly, and we didn't have much time in between. And I think they were better for that, Yeah, I mean, those were the days when, I mean, we didn't tour America either. So we had more time. We would do a European tour and then we would just come back and write again. Whereas some bands would do a European tour, then do an American tour. So there was another best part of 6 months taken from that as well. So we'd never really concentrate on the States around that time. So, but yeah, it was it's a cliche to say it's all a blur, but it kind of is. I mean, plus combined with 30 years ago, and my memories aren't what they used to be. So, but I remember we did have a lot of fun around that time as well. Which you could have fun and be productive, which is kind of hard to do both at our age now. It's usually one or the other, So.
And the thing with memory, and I'm getting old as well, and I have, the mind plays tricks on you because you remember things slightly differently than what they probably happened. I don't know if that happens to you, but I have, sometimes I just think I'm going crazy because I remember things differently.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. I mean, when the book was written, the author had to just talk to all of us multiple times because we all had different or slightly different opinions of what happened. And, to get a rounded, finished idea, then that was the only way to do it, really. And the book, and as a result, the book is incredibly accurate. I mean, I think he knows more about the band than we know. Purely from just listening to everyone's account of what happened, various scenarios throughout the years. But yeah, it's you sometimes forget who did something or who said something or. But I mean, a lot of these things that, the anecdotes that happen to you in life, they're not important enough to remember. They're just something that might be funny or, something that made you laugh at the time. But a lot of the time they're just anecdotes and you remember the important things, I hope, but the things that are just funny or a little bit throwaway, they tend to blur into the back of your mind somewhere,
Yeah. And, for drums and vocals, you guys came to Porto with James Arellano. Why did you guys choose to work with him? And was there any special reason for it?
We've worked with him for a long time now. I mean, I think the best part of probably 10 years we've worked with Gomez. But he's relocated to Porto, so... I like working with him on vocals. He's kind of easygoing to work with for the vocals, and he's a fan of the album as well. He's a big fan of that era of Paradise Lost. That's kind of got him into the band, I think, around that time. So he was really he was excited about working on the album, and he relocated there. So to that great studio you have there. So I kind of went along and just spent 4 days, and I did the vocals, and then. Guido did the drums a few weeks before me, the same place.
Yeah. And obviously with the re-recording comes, some shows for the Icon. What can we expect from the live stage? It's going to be probably a bigger production for Paradise Lost as well, special. What can we expect? I mean, probably I don't want to raise the bar too high and say that it's going to have pyros and plenty of lights like a Kiss show, which...
I mean, I don't think it'll be that flamboyant, but I don't know. Do you know, we've got a tour. We start on Wednesday, and then when we've done that, then we can start to think about it because it's a next point of reference because we've just finished. We've had an incredibly busy summer. It's been crazy this year with the festivals. So now we're doing this kind of short tour now. The Ultima Ratio Festival, and then tour, and then when we finish that, then we'll think about these shows. But when we were really looking forward to it, we always like to tap into the old stuff. I mean, when we did the Draconian Times tour, that was really great as well. It's a lot of people. Obviously, as you grow up, things become like very soundtracks to your lives, and the nostalgia thing is really nice to tap into it occasionally. I don't think it's good to be constantly swayed in nostalgia, but I do think to tap into it now and again is really nice and it's really enjoyable thing to do, and it's when we did Draconic Times, that was good fun, and I think this will be good as well, so we look forward to it.
Yeah. And set list wise, you already said that you're going to probably think about it after you play those final.
Well, I mean, it's the album's pretty much an hour long anyway, so we kind of, that takes us. Well, I mean, I mean, obviously the album, and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a long album anyway, so yeah. So that's going to keep us busy for an hour anyway. So.
You probably, after you play the whole record, I don't know how long you guys plan to play after, how many songs after that, but you're going to leave probably a lot of people unhappy, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we'll hopefully have some special guests as well. So I mean, we'll just wait and see what happens in that respect. But I don't think we're going to start doing 6-hour gigs or anything just yet. So.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I don't mind like those an evening with kind of shows. It's not like a bad idea, but after a while it gets old.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens. But I mean, once we finish this upcoming tour, then we can kind of think about what's going to happen. So
yeah, you also played some shows in Ireland. How did those shows go? Yeah,
we did Dublin and Limerick. Yeah, they were great. It's always nice. It's always great to go to Ireland. We don't really play there as much as people would imagine, and it's quite close as well. But for some reason, we don't go over there as much as maybe we should do. But yeah, it's great. I love going to Ireland. It's always a good laugh, and the crowds are great at both shows. Yeah, and we've got some friends over there as well. Yeah, it was good fun. It's always nice to visit Ireland.
Yeah. I ask because I have family and I go to Ireland quite a lot. I didn't go this time because, I cannot be in Ireland all the time. Otherwise,
right.
I wouldn't mind living there, but, I miss the sun in Portugal.
It's a lovely place to visit. Yeah, it's always fun, and it's only like, you can get in 45 minutes on an aeroplane. It's not like it's miles away. It's not like it's a trail, a slog to get there, So yeah, it's always fun to visit.
And as you were saying, you guys were pretty much busy, the summer, and you're going to be busy till the end of the year. Obsidian, the last original album, was released in 2020. Are you guys thinking about new music yet, or you just prefer to, finish this and then see what happens?
Because we started working on some songs, then we started the summer festival season, and it just got kind of lost in the festivals because it's nice to allocate periods of time downtime when you can write, because it's hard to keep your head on one thing when you keep having to pack a bag and then get on an airplane and go and do a gig, and you got to rehearse for the shows, and it's just nice to have scratch some time for that. So hopefully at the beginning of the year next year, we can have a few months downtime so we can actually get working more on the album. But we've got a few songs done. I think we've got a few songs done. We need to review them. But so yeah, I mean, we'll hopefully write an album next year anyway. Whether it's going to be recorded, I don't know, but hopefully at least written.
Yeah, and because you've been quite busy, not just Paradise Lost, Bloodbath. You guys had the Host record, released this year as well. So it's something, we're talking about like writing with Paradise Lost, like in the beginning every year and stuff like that. It's still exciting to to sit down, debate ideas, write lyrics. It's something that it's fun and enjoyable to you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the writing process is 100% different to how we used to write when we were younger. I mean, it's completely different now. We'd never meet up. We don't discuss things necessarily. Everything's through file share and email, and it's not. We don't write that way. It's equally as productive, I think, but it's just maybe you don't get maybe you're kind of more fussy. You can listen to things more than maybe you would do in the old days. Like I said, again, it goes back to the spontaneity thing. There isn't an element of that as much now, I don't think. But then you get there in the end anyway, But yeah, you can kind of, there's a lot of ping-ponging and ideas backwards and forwards. And you have more time to dwell on things and think, well, is this right? Is this wrong? Blah, blah. Whereas years and years ago, you think, well, it's kind of shit, but we'll see. It might be all right. And so it's kind of there's benefits of both ways of writing, I think. you can, like I said, you can have too long and you can have too short. It's just a case of, and some songs come together in no time, and then other songs can take months. It's just, we're just not the kind of band who can just kind of throw out a song and it's just brilliant. It's I just don't. Well, people say they do that. I don't necessarily believe that's true, but I guess you can pretend you're spontaneous and you just like can throw out a genius song in about 10 minutes. I don't think that really happens with many people, but yeah, like I said, it's the songwriting, how we do it's changed dramatically to what it was when we started.
Well, I mean, that comes with experience as well. And you probably analyze things, differently now, and your ears are more,
Yeah, I mean, when you start writing something, and if you spend a lot of time on it, the more you can spend a full day thinking this is fantastic. And then you can wake up in the morning and you think it's rubbish, Yeah. It's really kind of, you can get too locked into something, and then sometimes you have to take a step backwards, which is always really important, having a step backwards and maybe let someone else have a listen. And yeah, it's a very I mean, we always get there, but it's and when it comes together, it's great. That's the nice part, that's the rewarding part, I guess. It's like any kind of art form, once you get to down, and once you've gone to the top of the hill and you're coming down, that's a nice feeling, but it's not always easy getting there, but it's it's always fun coming when you got there.
Can you trust your instincts still when writing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gut reactions pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you could hear something that's not necessarily, you think, oh, hang on, this is strange, and then you got to listen to it and then get into the. I don't instantly dismiss something. I would never do that, but I've got to give it a few. And if I still feel the same way after a few listens, then I would trust my instinct on it. Yeah, but I don't instantly dismiss things because I don't think that's really a positive thing to do.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely, you got to go with a gut reaction, I think.
And just for curiosity of mine, when it comes to write lyrics, can you write like a whole lyric without the music? Or do you need the music to, to get some like melodies in your head? How you're going to sing this part and then write around it? How does that process work with you? It's
usually I'll write around them. I mean, I prefer the music as a springboard to write lyrics to, and I always like how words sound on certain parts of songs, and that's always something I've admired about certain bands over the years. I'm not particularly interested in hearing stories in songs, although sometimes it's nice to hear that, but it's more about how, particularly metal, for me, it's more about how the songs sound at a certain time, how the lyrics sound at a certain time, and the words. And yeah, it's always, but I mean, I can write without music, but I prefer to have something to kind of bounce off, really,
Yeah. And, Paradise Lost, Host, Bloodbath, what's the plans music-wise for the next year? Is there anything you can reveal?
I'm not really. I mean, it's Host, who knows? Bloodbath, hopefully we'll get around to another album at some point. We're going to do some shows in America next year, I think, and we'll see what happens there. But at this point, it's just getting to the end of the year with Paradise Lost, and then we'll see what's going to happen next year, But yeah, there's nothing concrete planned. There's no concrete plans for anything really outside of PL at the moment,
Cool. All right, Nick, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in Lisbon, obviously, for the show.
Yeah, cool.
And,
right.
I'm looking forward to hear Icon 13, even though, I have 13, even though I have, the original record anyway. But, I'm just curious to see how these recording sounds.
I've got a friend. I said I was going to send it to a friend of mine, and he didn't want to hear it. He just said, "I don't want it. I don't need to hear it." He was so point blank, it made me laugh. But I mean, I'm genuinely. I think people will be quite pleased with it. I genuinely think so. I mean, we're not trying to replace the original, of course not. I mean, that's insane. But considering it's been done 30 years later, I'm very pleased with it. So hopefully. Yeah. There'll be a lot. There's going to be people who are like, no, but
Yeah, but as I said, you cannot please everyone, because you always have that old school, guys that are so attached to that original thing that.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of the same. You know, there's a lot of albums I think should never be touched. But then if they, it depends what they were doing it for, and if it still sounded pretty good, then I could handle it. I think. But yeah, you know, we'll see. But I mean, we're all pretty happy with it, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, very good, Nick. Thank you very much for your time. All the best for Paradise Lost, and I'll see you in Lisbon.
Cheers.
In December. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.
And you, mate. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.